Good evening. A Points West investigation can tonight reveal a catalogue of failings at a Bristol nursing home. One family has described the care at Holmwood House in Westbury-on-Trim as disgusting.
We've found out that last year alone, one woman was dropped from a hoist, that prescribed drinks weren't given and mistakes were made with medicine. But tonight, the owner told us his priority is the health and welfare of his 29 residents and that he always responds quickly to problems and complaints.
Martin Jones has been to meet one concerned family.
She loved bowling, she loved skittles, she loved playing bingo, she loved dancing.
Kathleen Cole in happier times, before she developed dementia and came here, Holmwood House, for 24/7 nursing care.
I'd come out of that home thinking, I just wish I could pick my mum up and bring her home with me. It was awful.
Mrs. Cole was there for almost 5 years, and her daughter believes there were serious failings in her care.
I thought, they knew what they were doing.
She says the most traumatic event was almost 2 years ago, when a nurse, Cicely Joseph, gave Mrs. Cole an enema. She insists she only gave good care, and the enema was prescribed and necessary. A council investigation says otherwise, and called it abuse.
I felt as if I had violated my mum, myself. The home didn't tell me that this had actually gone on. I had to hear it second-hand.
Mrs. Joseph was convicted of assault, later overturned on appeal. The council said the enema wasn't reported, recorded or communicated correctly. Holmwood's owner, Hassan Al-Jabouri, said it would be inappropriate to comment about specific aspects of care. A month after the enema, Holmwood was inspected and heavily criticised. Admissions were temporarily suspended and then restricted for several months. Inspectors did note big improvements, but then things deteriorated last year. Mrs. Cole was prescribed supplement drinks. Nurses wrote that she'd been given them, but last May, 80 unused bottles were found in her room. A subsequent report by the regulator was damning. Since then, the home has addressed the worst failure, but it's still not up to standard for food and drink.
This CQC report confirms again that they failed to meet the criteria that CQC require. Why are they allowed to keep on failing? Why?
At Holmwood last year, we've learned of 5 serious incidents, including errors with medicines and poor handling of residents. The owner here says he's transparent and that staff provide good care for each resident. But sources have told us it's often short-staffed.
That put us under pressure. The effect was that staff were constantly stressed, and that affected the morale of the residents as well. The management said it wasn't short-staffed, but it was.
Also employed as a consultant at Holmwood is Isla Meek. She used to manage a different Bristol care home, but was struck off as a nurse 2 years ago. She hasn't responded to our inquiries. Mr. Al-Jabouri said they value her experience as a critical outsider, and she doesn't carry out nursing duties. Annette moved her mother out of Holmwood last July. At the time, the council wouldn't send in any new residents. Mrs. Cole died 12 days later.
People shouldn't be treated like that. They shouldn't. They really shouldn't. After all, yes, Mum was ill, but she was still human. She was still living. She still needed to be treated with dignity and respect.
Mr. Al-Jabouri said Mrs. Cole was safe and well looked after, and every matter we'd raised had been investigated in great detail. He also said other families were happy with their care. But Holmwood remains under serious scrutiny. The council isn't sending anyone there who needs nursing and has sent in a team to make sure it improves long term. Martin Jones, BBC Points West.
Well, the City Council have told us that they've been working with Holmwood's owners for some months now and has written to all the residents there, but they don't have the power to close a home. Well, joining me now is Mark Baker from Age UK. Welcome to the programme. Mark, how many chances should a home have before it's closed down?
I don't know. With this particular one, it seems to be going on for quite a long time, really. And the responsibility is with the Care Quality Commission, who monitors and registers these homes. And in their judgment, they've let this one continue.
OK, so how can people, relatives often, check out which home is going to be good and which isn't?
Right. What often happens is there's life events that suddenly make people want to look at a care home and start looking. It's best to plan in advance because everyone's needs slightly differently. But once you start to settle on a care home, you can go onto the Care Quality Commission website, for instance, and it'll tell you whether it's meeting the standards it requires or not. And in the case in point, if people go onto the Care Quality Commission, you'll see which standards they're meeting and which standards they're not.
How rare are cases and concerns like these?
I think it's really important that these, I think they are odd ones. To this standard of what appears to be poor care is not the usual. There's 130 different care homes in Bristol and most of them perform much better than this, but some are much better than others.
I think this one was about £600 a week, which I guess is towards lower down the scale of costs. Is there a sense that you get what you pay for?
Unfortunately, there is, because basically choice comes with more money. The more money you've got, the more choice that you're able to make. The council has a sort of a level at which they won't fund any higher. So if you want to go to a care home and you do need council support, then they'll only pay up to a certain level. And so there is a budget then that you're looking at.
Well, I guess we talk about sort of salaries for staff and so on, but many staff are paid poor money, but really go the extra mile.
Right.
It's not necessarily money, is it, that drives it?
I think money is important. The sort of people who are properly attracted to these jobs aren't motivated by money. They're motivated because they love people and they love to provide that sort of care. But obviously money is important to people. And at the moment, as a society, we don't value care sufficiently. And the retention of good staff and recruiting of people with compassion and empathy is just so important.
OK, thank you very much indeed for that insight. Thank you.